What's up, guys? Sean Ogle of Location Rebel, on location at my alma mater, Oregon State University. And in this video, we're going to talk about the importance of a mentor, how to find a mentor, and well, how I expected to find one here and I didn't. Okay, so the first person that had a real impact on me wasn't necessarily so much of a mentor, but it's fitting because I met him in this building. He was the one person in college that I really feel like had a significant impact on my business and my career. The reason being is we started a house painting business together in college. We went to Rio in February of 2009, had the trip of a lifetime, and within a year, both of us had left our jobs and were going to travel the world. He was the one that held me accountable for all that, and I've written about this in the past. I've got a link above that talks about how he quit his job and moved to Hawaii, and it was talking to him nearly every day that kept me motivated to want to leave my job, start a business, and eventually move to Thailand, which there'll be links to all of this stuff that I talk about there as well. And I can't tell you how many times I walked down this street. This street, aside from that building didn't exist. But if you were to just kind of look at it like this, that part looks about the same. So here's the thing about solopreneurship. So many people think that once you decide to start an online business and you're going against the grain and you're being unconventional, they think that's it, you're doing it all on your own. The reality is, the last thing you want to do is pursue an online business on your own. There's a certain sense of pride of being a lone wolf. I'm going against the grain and I'm doing these things that nobody else is going to do. But the reality is because you're going against the grain and because you're doing something that your friends and family, they may not necessarily understand, or society in general says, no, this isn't possible. It's not possible to build a business that allows you to travel and work for yourself. Because you're doing that, it's that much more important to find a supportive community, to find a mentor, and to find that support system that can be so hard to get. It's about to start raining really hard, I think. Let's find another place with some cover. All right, so the first mentor that I had in my life goes by the name of Chris Guillebeau. Chances are, if you follow my site, you probably know who Chris is. Started a website called The Art of Nonconformity, New York Times bestseller, he's written a bunch of books, and he made it to every country in the world by the time he was 35. So when I'd gotten back from Brazil, I was unhappy, I wanted an adventure, I wanted to do something new and exciting. I stumbled across Chris's website, and it was the one site where every Monday and Thursday, I would hit refresh at 8 o'clock every morning, waiting for that new blog post. Well, it turns out Chris moved to Portland, so I sent him a note and said, hey Chris, is there any chance I can buy you a cup of coffee? And for some reason, he said yes. So what I ended up doing was I had to lie to my boss. I was out of vacation days because I took that trip to Brazil, told him I had a doctor's appointment. I went and met Chris at Starbucks over in like a hipster area of Portland. I'm in my ill-fitting suit. Chris laughs at me. He's like, what are you wearing? I was like, I'm wearing my suit. And that ended up striking up a friendship. And he was the one that encouraged me to start Location Rebel. He said, start a website, use it to hold yourself accountable for all those things you wanted to do. And we would meet, every month or two for the course of the next year. And what ended up happening was February of 2010, years later, Chris and I met at a Starbucks in Bangkok. And that's when I knew I had kind of made it. That's when I was like, all of this stuff you've been teaching me, all of this stuff you've been helping me to do. I was now living in Thailand. Chris was traveling there. We had a meetup. We took this photo. And that was a really, really cool moment for me. And for years after that, Chris and I worked on the World Domination Summit together. I helped him with his affiliate program at The Art of Nonconformity, and he became a good friend. And even though he probably wouldn't necessarily use the term mentor, that's really what he was to me. As I was getting going in the early days, he was the one that helped with the support. He helped when I was feeling down. He was the one that provided encouragement. And he was the one that helped me provide a roadmap to figure out what steps are next. Generally, the chances are you're a motivated person. You want to do something, but you might not know exactly what to do, or you might not know exactly how to do it, or what the next steps would be. And that's part of why finding a mentor or this community can be so beneficial, because you can find someone who's maybe a couple steps farther down the road that can tell you, it's like, hey, this is what you need to do next. And that's a really important thing. Dude, what is the deal with this rain? It's supposed to be sunny today. Here's a bit of free advice for you. If you do build this kind of business and you can work from anywhere, work from some place that isn't as wet as this, because It is ugly. Okay, so what about that last mentor? The last person that had the biggest impact on my business and where I'm at now? It's a guy by the name of Dan Andrews. So Dan's got a podcast called The Tropical MBA. I totally recommend you go check it out. If you have any interest in starting any kind of business, it's one of the best podcasts out there. So he was the head of marketing for a company based out of San Diego, but he was running the marketing team out of the Philippines. But after I quit my job and he read about it on Location Rebel, he said, "Hey Sean, I'm looking to bring an American dude out to Asia. You work for me part-time, I'll pay for your basic living expenses, I'll teach you how to do online marketing, and the rest of the time we have an adventure." And so I made what I thought might have been the stupidest decision of my life. I ended up, saying yes, met this random dude from the internet at the Bangkok airport at 1 a.m. and luckily, it ended up being the best choice I ever made. We worked together for a couple of years. He taught me SEO, he taught me freelance writing, he taught me marketing, and they were all things that I was then able to apply to Location Rebel and my own businesses. And so if it weren't for Dan, if it weren't for that opportunity to move to Asia, I probably wouldn't be doing this, and certainly not in the capacity that I am now. So I really owe a lot to both Dan, Chris, Ryan for helping me with the motivation to go through with it all. And those were the three people that had the biggest impact on me and what I'm doing. So guess what class was in here? That would be my Intro to Entrepreneurship class. Guess what I learned in my Intro to Entrepreneurship class? Not much. Okay, so how do you go about finding a mentor of your own? As far as I'm concerned, there's two ways to do it. There's the slow way and the fast way. And neither one's necessarily better than the other. They both have their own pros and cons, and it really depends a little bit on what type of person you are and what your timelines are. So the first way is the natural way, and that's where you just try and build relationships. You be an authentic person. If somebody gives you advice, you take action on it, and then you go back and ask for more advice. Because people like to see people that are actually going to take action on the advice that they're given. And that shows that you're someone that's willing to do the work. It shows that you follow through on the things you say you're gonna do. And when you're talking to someone who's more successful than you, those are the types of things people wanna see in order to kind of adopt more of an unofficial or official mentor-mentee type relationship. Okay, so what about the second way to find a mentor, the fast way? So this is actually kind of funny. I realized as I'm walking through the MU quad here, I walked by this table, and I realized when I told you earlier that I didn't have any mentors when I was at Oregon State, that in some ways I kind of lied. So the way I started my first business was through a program called College Works Painting, which was kind of a training program to teach college students how to run a business. So I had my own, essentially my own franchise of College Works, where I would go find the clients, I would hire the employees, I would go, have my team paint the houses. And it was sitting at this table that I first met my district manager, the guy that brought me on to work at College Works. His name was Brent. So even though after that first year, I never really talked to him anymore, he was one person that had a pretty significant impact on getting me into the world of entrepreneurship and learning how to run my own business. So the fast way to find a mentor is to hire somebody. And that's kind of what I did with Brent. For every house I painted, he got a small percentage of the money. Okay, so if you're on your quest to find a mentor, there's a few things you need to keep in mind, regardless of whether or not you go the fast way or the slow way. First thing, if they give you advice, you gotta be ready to act on it. Because if someone gives you advice and then you don't do anything, then 6 months later you ask the same question again, they give you advice, you don't do anything, then they're not gonna wanna work with you because you're not someone who's willing to take action. Second, you've got to be respectful. If someone is too busy or doesn't have an interest in talking to you, move on. There's plenty of other people that you can work with and learn from. But some people just don't have the time or the interest to maybe take on new mentors. Often the best mentors are the ones that are informal. It's not like, hey, I'm gonna be your mentee, you're gonna teach me everything you know. Usually it doesn't work like that. Usually it's because you struck up a friendship with somebody and organically, the teachings and the learning and the knowledge just kind of gets imparted that way. So don't go in guns blazing, be like, hey, I wanna learn from you, hey, I wanna learn from you. That's not gonna really do you any good and people are gonna be turned off by it. So regardless of what you do, keep those things in mind. Yep, still raining. All right. So what's the point of me telling you all of this now? Well, after years of thinking about it, we finally decided the time is right to create our first ever Location Rebel Mentorship Program. You know, as we've talked about some of my mentors today and the impact that it's had on my life, my career, my happiness. We're in kind of a unique position because we've got members that have had a ton of success. We've got over 3,000 members now in Location Rebel, and we've been there, we've done that. We've built all of these types of businesses, whether it's freelance writing, blogging, niche sites, affiliate marketing, we've done it all. And I've realized that when it comes to, you know, coaching and masterminds and all that stuff, you never really know who you can trust. You never know if they're actually legit. You see a Facebook ad and you're like, you know, oh, it sounds great, and usually it's too good to be true. But one thing I've realized is I've been doing this since 2009. Like, you can see every blog post. You can see the transition that I've made over the last however many years, and you can see all the people we've helped through our case studies and all that stuff. Really what I decided I wanted to do is I wanted to create a, you know, mentorship program that was by real people and for real people. I don't want to be one of those, you know, yeah, you get one group call a month and then you're on your own. Like, I really want this as much as possible to feel like you've got a friend, you've got a true mentor, you've got someone that's going to bat for you, that wants to go the extra mile to help you build this business and achieve this lifestyle. And I really think that we are going to have achieved that. Like, we've spent the last couple months, we've got 2 of our most successful Location Rebel members of all time that are helping me with the coaching. You know, we've been spending the last couple months, you know, putting together the curriculum, talking about what the calls are gonna look like, and how we can provide the most value possible. So that's part of the reason why we're talking about mentors today. You know, I happen to be back on campus, you know, for the holidays, which is just kind of cool to be back here because everything is totally different. And like I said, there's no right or wrong way. You know, finding a mentor the organic way and the way that takes a little bit longer, that's great because the chances are you're gonna build a deeper relationship with that person. But if you're also looking for a way to fast track it, like I said, there's a lot of programs out there, there's a lot of coaches out there, there's a lot of mentors out there, and we're trying to do something a little bit different with ours. And so if you've been following my site for any length of time, I think you're really going to dig what we're up to, and I think you're going to see what sets us apart from all of the other, you know, different trainings and mentorship programs out there. So with that was a little bit of a longer video than I was expecting to do today, but the concept of a mentor is so important because, you know, we're not trying to do this on our own. You need the support, you need the help. Even if you're, you know, building a business on your own, you're a solopreneur, you still need people to go to bat for you and help you through those tough times and help celebrate your wins as well. So make sure to hit subscribe. We got new videos every week. Hit that little notification bell so that you can see when we got new videos coming out. It's still raining and it's the holidays, so I'm gonna go spend time with my wife's family who lives here in Corvallis, hence being back at beautiful Oregon State University, and I can't wait to see you next time. So if you have any questions on any of this, if you have questions on Location Rebel, if you have questions on starting a business, if you have questions on our mentorship program, shoot me an email, Sean@locationrebel.com, and we'll see you next week.